Hello everyone, it's Silvia from Fairlight Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I've been away for a while, so I didn't have access to my usual filming gear, which made it a bit difficult, not to talk about the difficulties of uploading videos, even when I was able to film them because of the spotty Wi-Fi. But I'm happy to say that I'm back home now. I can do whatever I want, and I am so happy, and I have so many decks that I want to show you, but I decided to do an unboxing with you. So we're actually going to look at all of these new decks, and you guys gonna get my very first impressions, which sometimes I tend to stick to, sometimes I actually tend to change my mind, but I always want to keep an open mind towards the deck that I'm viewing and I'm purchasing, because I believe that we need to work with our decks, and then we can actually have a conversation about them, whether they work with us, for us, or not. But I do like first impression videos because, you know, it's always about the gut feeling, that you get every time that you are exposed to new images, new concepts, etc. So without much further ado, let's have a look at what I've got today. Okay, so in no particular order, I'm just reaching out for the decks that are on my table right now, and I am so very excited about this deck. It's the Tarot of the Unexplained by Dave Zilla. It says it's a deck of cryptides, or is it cryptids or cryptides? Sorry about that. I think it's cryptides, but I'm not entirely sure. Ghosts, UFOs, and other urban oddities. And if you have watched my channel for any length of time, you will know how much this theme actually fascinates me. I'm always on the hunt for something intriguing, sometimes even scary. So I'm really looking forward to this deck. I don't see, oh okay, it is being published by Red Wheel. In any case, it is a mass market deck. It's a very recent release, at least in Australia. And I've had the opportunity to look at images before, and I think that I'm going to like it, although I don't want to spoil the experience for myself. So as I said, I'm keeping an open mind. Let's see what can we expect from a Tarot of the Unexplained. So if you're fans of Supernatural, the TV show that ran for 15 seasons with the brothers Dean and Sam Winchester, you will probably know all about, well, supernatural beings, really. We're talking about werewolves, wendigos, and all sorts of things. And so it's the story of a couple of brothers who travel around the country in the US, and they're always on the hunt for things that go bump in the night. So I absolutely loved it. I loved that there were 15 seasons of it, and I rewatch it every now and again. And so that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to see a little bit of those supernatural beings in these cards. But as I said, I don't know, because I've only had a look at a bunch of cards. I don't know all of them. I love this two-part box. This I believe is a, well, I've heard that they call it a Wendigo, although I have to say, because I also played a couple of video games where there are Wendigos, the way in which they are depicted is not always the same, so I'm not gonna identify that as a Wendigo. It is what it is scary, but it also looks very intriguing. On the side of the, on both sides actually, there's a UFO, what appears to be a UFO abducting what appears to be one of the Blues Brothers. So at least they're dressed like that, even though I'm thinking now in a more modern take, it could be the Man in Black, so it could be that, I don't know. And it's also on the book, so we can see that there's two UFOs with the light, and then there's some kind of a big alien insect that seems to be looking down at them. So very ominous. And we've got, yeah, we've got these pages. We got what looks to be Okay, I'm already kind of scared because it looks like the minors are peepish. But as I said, I don't want to spoil my experience. So you know what? I'm actually not going to look at the guidebook for now. We are going to have a look at it later after I look at the cards. Because I don't want to spoil my experience by thinking, okay, it's peepish. Even though I now think that it is, which kind of makes me a bit upset. But anyway, so we are not alone. Yes, I actually strongly believe that we are not alone. Whether the other form of intelligent life are looking like this is very, very unlikely that they look like us. But you know, we are not. I'm not a pretentious person that thinks that we are alone in the universe. I mean, I maybe, maybe not. But let's zoom in. Okay, we zoomed in enough. So the deck is a bit bold. It doesn't really bother me, but it looks like it's one of those products that looks like I have a split in the middle, which again doesn't really bother me because once I shuffle this deck, it will not be in the middle anymore, and it's fine. It does have a slight bow, but nothing that represents a deal breaker for me. These are the backs. Which I sort of like. They do remind me of a couple of Insight Editions decks. This is not an Insight Editions, but let's see. So it's got a really nice silver gilding. It doesn't look like the cards are sticking one to the other, which makes me very happy because especially when I'm unboxing a deck on camera, it's very annoying when the cards are sticking one to the other. And let's go. So we got the Fool, which is actually renamed the Ghost to Stalker. Love that. Really, really love that. I love the colors as well. And I love this kind of an atmosphere in which it really feels like you're taking a step into an adventure. The remote viewer is the Magician. We see a lot of symbols here. It looks like the remote viewer is pointing to a psychic, perhaps. I love that they kept the lemniscate as a symbol. You never know. There might be, so these characters might actually be from movies, but I will check that later in the guidebook. Then we got the Bell Witch for the High Priestess, which is very nice, very intriguing. I like that there is some kind of a smile on the face of this character because it looks like they know something that we don't and they're going to tell us. So really love that. There appears to be a ram in the card as well. There's a constellation. Love the colors again and the silhouette in the background. The Empress is La Llorona. La Llorona is part of, actually was in one of the Supernatural episodes, and it is a supernatural being that belongs to Latin American and specific Mexican culture. And it talks about, so La Llorona, llorar, in Spanish means to cry, and it is this character that cries because they've lost their children and now they are unfortunately doomed to wander forever and steal somebody else's child. So obviously it does carry with it some kind of a doom atmosphere, very, very scary. But I love it because I'm not entirely sure that blood is involved in the myth or the story or the legend of the La Llorona. Perhaps it is, perhaps not. I have read and watched many movies or, TV shows about La Llorona, but there's also a horror movie from a few years ago about it. There might be variations to the myth. So Indrid Cold, I have to beg for forgiveness because I actually don't know. I feel like it's a very famous character from either a movie or a TV show that is probably half alien, and I'm saying that because of the smile, but I could be completely wrong. I like that there's constellations in that and the moon phases as well, even though I can see here there's two very similar backgrounds to this. So these two belonging to the same kind of movie, or I don't know what the source of these popular characters might be. The Jackalope anyway. The Jackalope, I feel like it's another character of supernatural being, very well known, also belonging to I think it's the southern states of the US, but please forgive me if I'm wrong. The polka, again, I really do need the guidebook, but for now I just want to look at the cards. Again, love the colors, love the constellation. The Nomo ship for the chariot, which makes sense because it implies movement. Redemption for the strength card. Again, I'm really needing to look at the guidebook, the Yeti. Well, we all know about the Yeti, of course. Loving this. I'm not entirely sure about these that look like shapes or shades of UFOs in the sky, but I'm all for it, so let's have a look later. The hoop snake, which is the Ouroboros basically. Or I'm not saying that the myth of the hoop snake is related to the Ouroboros. I'm saying that the position of the hoop snake in this case reminds me of the Ouroboros. For the circle of life, the wheel of fortune is perfect. The Thunderbird for the justice card with the lemniscate, I like that. The extraction for the hanged one, which makes sense because we still see the symbology of the folded leg, the reminder of the number 4. See, they do call it the Wendigo, but the last time, so I was playing a game, what was it, the Quarry? No, it wasn't the Quarry, it was Until Dawn. So I was playing Until Dawn and there were Wendigos. Sorry, I hope I'm not spoiling anything. I don't think I am, because there is this on the cover of the game they talk about supernatural beings. So, but it is not represented this way, so I'm not entirely sure whether there are variation to the legend. The Loch Ness Monster, I actually like that for the Temperance card because it does remind me of the element of water and time as well. So Nain Rouge or Nain Rouge, I will have to check that out. For the Devil, looks like a pirate, this and obviously facing the devil perhaps. The Silver Bridge for the Tower, again I'm gonna have to check that out. So loving the star card. Sirius, which is a star, a very luminous star as a matter of fact. Really loving this. I love this character. I love the way in which he looks human at the same way as supernatural. Yes, I will have to obviously read about that. Oh, look at this, the Flatwood Monster. That is very intriguing, very interesting. I've never heard of this, but it's a very intriguing kind of figure. The Anunnaki, which looks like it's of Sumerian, Babylonian origin. I may be completely wrong again. I'm just out on a limb here. I'm just saying things perhaps I shouldn't. The Man in Black, well, there you go. So obviously I thought about the Blues Brothers, but it is the Man in Black. And it makes sense now, obviously, thinking about it, because it does have this element of aliens, the hollow earth for the world card, which also makes sense. And then, so what I heard people have problems with is the renaming of the minors, and also for what I understand, the renaming, but I haven't checked the renaming of the court cards, but let's have a look. So Ace of Knockers, and it could be knockers. To me looks like a club, so it could be sticks, so it could be wands and fire. The 2 of knockers, the 3 of knockers, so it is kind of pippish, but it's also, I would say, illustrated as well, or scenic. Sorry, not illustrated. Of course, it's illustrated, but it's scenic. It kind of makes sense. For knockers, not entirely. I don't necessarily see the sense of the 4 of Wands in this card, a celebration of the union, the establishment of rules in society. The 5 of knockers, that could be, you know, the branches on the ground. It could be an aftermath of the fight. The 6 of knockers. Also not entirely sure about this. The celebration of the victory, but I don't see that. The 7 of knockers, standing for yourself, standing up for yourself for sure, because it does look like it's on an attack position. The 8 of knockers, which is fine because it's running, so the sense of speed. The 9 of knockers, the sense of resilience. Don't necessarily see that. I think that the sky looks very similar to all of the minors, so I'm not entirely happy with that. Again, not a deal breaker. 10 of knockers. Don't really see the sense of overwhelm. Okay, so now we have the renaming of the court cards, and we see here, well, what have we got? We've got a fan of knockers, professional Bigfoot lover. I actually like this. There is this spark of energy. There is this sense of you know, being at the beginning of your adventure, of your evolution into the court cards. So I like that. The hunter. So this is a fan, which I do tend to see that as a way to approach the apprenticeship. So you're a fan of a discipline, so you want to learn about it. The hunter is on the move, so I like it for the knight. The advocate is a protector, is a healer, is a protector, so I do see that as a sense of a queen. And the skeptic, okay, the skeptic of knockers, you know what, I understand that they want to put these two as a queen and a king, in the sense that you see two sides of the same coin perhaps, or the yin and the yang, however we want to read it. I'm not entirely sure that I would see a king of wands as a skeptic, because the king of wands has the mastery of the fire, so he's actually a forger. Not a skeptic. I would see a king of air to be a skeptic, but this is a renaming of the court cards, not related to the suits, so I'm okay with that. So this is what I was looking at earlier, and in the guidebook, and it kind of upset me because it looks very pippish and very lazy. But again, okay, Ace of Portals. Portals is probably cups, because it gives you the opportunity to see the entering the realm of the feelings. So I'm thinking I could be wrong, because circular form could be related to the coins. Fan of portals, hunter of portals. It doesn't really tell you much, does it? Anyway, we'll see later. So Ace of Portals, 2 of Portals, very pippish. 3 of Portals. I mean, this one reminds me of the movie Arrival, which is one of my favorite movies ever, because it deals with the supernatural, it deals with the unexplained, it deals with aliens, but it also deals a lot with language, which is my one passion. As you guys know, the 4 of Portals, you know what, it might actually be coins. I'm resisting the urge to go to the guidebook because I don't want to spoil my first impressions. So the 5 of Portals, it doesn't really tell you much, whether it's the 5 of Cups, which really points to a loss, of the 5 of Coins, which points to an even heavier loss. 6 of Portals, the 7 of Portals. These are not very conducive of a reading for a tarot deck. It depends on how much you know about the cards, how you're going to read them. Are you going to refer back to the symbology of the RWS, or are you going to apply some kind of an intuition to it? That really is up to the reader. I believe, however, I strongly believe as well that we need to be knowledgeable about every kind of system there is in order to be able to decide whether we want to read it in a way or not. Hunter of Portals. I mean, I get it. For what the card says and the renaming of it, I get it. This is definitely a portal. Okay, fine. Think Stargate, for example. Advocate of Portals. And I kind of like the hands with the heart, though. And Skeptic of Portals, which to me, this looks like a typical queen of air, but it might not be. Portals didn't feel like swords. Ace of Ghost, you know, Ace of Ghost could be air. It could be the sword, suit of sword. Let's have a look. Ace of Ghost. I could be completely wrong, and you guys are probably laughing at me right now, which I'm completely okay with. Ace of Ghost. I like it though. I really like it. The 2 of Ghosts. Well, there is, you know, a bifurcation in the road here, so it might refer back to the fact that you're stuck. You know, you have to make a choice, but you don't have enough information about it, so you're kind of stuck and not moving, which is the 2 of Swords. And the 3 of Ghosts could be referring to the 3 of Swords, We have 3 tombstones here. I can't really read the dates. So it's 1818, 1877, I think, and 1821, which could be very interesting to check out why they chose those years. I mean, historically speaking, there's a lot of events that happened. The Declaration of Independence of South America, 1821, that sounds like it might have been something around that. But again, if you guys are laughing at me, I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm not a history buff. My husband is. I could ask him. The 4 of Ghost points to rest, so I'm really thinking Ghost is referring to swords. So the 5 of Ghosts, you know, the sense of gaslighting, not entirely sure. The 6 of Ghost moving, yes, towards, you know, when you do the transition. So I'm kind of, I'm getting the vibes of this. The 7 of Ghost, not entirely sure what they want to point out to that. But this looks like Freddy. Doesn't it look like Freddy from Friday the 13th? And the 8 of Ghost, which is a library. I love a library. I love cats and I really love books. I feel that this book has been pushed out by a supernatural being, which is, you know, kind of peeking out of the books here. And this character is probably scared because she's protecting herself, crossing her arms across her chest. And maybe she's intrigued at the same time, but I don't see how that points to the 8, the cage of the 8 of Swords. The 9 of Ghost, beautiful. The 10 of Ghost is candle magic, really loving this. And I'm thinking this is not a 10 of Swords. This is really messy and I apologize for that. Fan of Ghost, yes, absolutely. Hunter of Ghost, yeah, I can see that. But see, this is like the Magician pointing up and down. For a Knight, I don't see the Knight having the vibes of the Magician. But anyway, the Advocate of Ghost and the Skeptic of Ghost, which is awesome. I really like this figure. That is exactly what I picture a Skeptic of Ghost will look like. And then Ace of Saucers. Saucers to me is cups, but I could be wrong. So Ace of Saucers, 2 of Saucers, 3 of Saucers, not giving me much vibes for the RWS here. 4 of Saucers, maybe 5 of Saucers being left out. Yeah, I can see that. The 6 of Saucers, that sense of nostalgia, don't necessarily get that. But also, it's not just nostalgia. The 6 of Cups is about finding refuge in something that feels safe. And I get like a lot of people actually would feel safe. They feel so threatened to live in this world nowadays that they would feel safe with anything but, you know, this world. So a different world would feel safer. I am just completely making that up, so I don't know. The 7 of Saucers, 8 of Saucers. Yeah, I can see the pip in there. Let's say that Fan of Saucer, Hunter, yeah, Advocate and Skeptic, of course. I would say that I really need to do some studying of this book before I'll be able to give some kind of a rating or my opinion about it. I was really intrigued by the cards that I've seen, but of course they only show, you know, majors and the court cards, which is pointing at, sometimes is pointing at lazy minors. I wouldn't say it's totally lazy minors. I do see some cynic in the suits here, but it's not what I expected. I would have loved for it to have a lot more kind of recognizable supernatural beings, cryptids, or, you know, characters. They had the possibility to do that because we have 78 cards, let's not forget that. But they chose not to, especially in the suit of portals. It looks kind of very lazy to me. So I'm not entirely happy about this deck. I do love the suit of Ghost, but because I promised that I would do that, let me just find out what these stand for. So maybe there is an explanation at the beginning. Let's see, a guide to the cards. Acknowledgement, okay. Introduction. A guide to the card. So we've got the renaming of the major arcanas, which hasn't been giving me any kind of problem, to be honest. So, okay, I was right. Knockers, it is indeed wands and fire. Portals is cups and water. So I was wrong. Portals and cups, I kind of mixed them up. So portals is cups and water, and sources is pentacles and earth, and ghost is indeed swords and air. Which is absolutely fine, but with this knowledge, this is the star card, by the way, really beautiful. With this knowledge, I'm just gonna go back and have a look at the cards, you know, when I'm going to study this deck, when I'm going to start using it. So this is the suit of portals, so it's cups, as we said, but I still didn't necessarily get that sense. So the six of portals is finding refuge into the past that feels safe, nostalgia, purity, generosity, happiness, reconciliation. Then you do also have keywords for the reverse meaning, which I always appreciate, and the phenomena. So that's what I was looking for. I really wanted some kind of a description of what the phenomena are, what are we looking at. So in this case, it says, seeing that thing you saw when you were a child that freaked you out. Oh, okay, that is scary, but it's also very sweet at the same time. I like that. Okay, the new moon hovers over the sea directly below. 6 egg-shaped portals emerge, huddled in a circle. There are alternating dark and pale portals. Unsurprisingly, the direction of energy flows is opposite between the dark and light portals. I like that. Did not notice that. I'm liking it. Scorpio sneaks over the portals like a serpent. Scorpio's natural silence and stealth indicate the sign comes in quietly. So obviously I was suspecting it, but there are astrological references in the card. This card can signify a tendency to dwell on negative memories of experiences from the past, not just good ones, that can cause difficulties in the present. Loving the guidebook, guys. This is totally having me quite happy about this deck. I have to be honest, and I wasn't really happy about the minors being peepish, but the guidebook is amazing. So this card manifests as in unwillingness to let go of grudges or regrets, leading to feelings of sadness and bitterness. The six of portals can represent living in denial, ignoring reality and avoiding responsibility. If you learn only one thing from this card, it is this: do not text your ex if you're drunk. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this. Absolutely so fun. Absolutely loving this. It really totally, you know, it brought me back on a positive feeling about this deck. If all of the cards are like this, I'm actually really loving the guidebook, and I'm willing to close an eye on the fact that the peeps are the minors are kind of peepish. Really love it. And then we also have meditate. What did you do as a child that brought you happiness? What was there a favorite game or hobby? Time to relive it, if only for a day. Loving this, really loving this. Let's just, you know what? I just want to pick a card from the majors because I really want to. Let's have a look at La Llorona, because I am familiar with the legends. So I just want to see whether I am, you know, picking the right vibes from the card or not. So La Llorona. Dealings with mothers and children, yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. With the Empress, challenging the relationship with your partner, I cannot see that. Open relationships and threesomes, definitely can see that, because the Empress does not is not confined to societal rules. So I do see that. It's when the Emperor comes into play that we have rules in society, but the Empress is still free. Reversed, a hidden third partner, cheating spouses, unfaithfulness, loss of children from death. Wow. Okay, that's I'm not sure about how I feel about this. It is very dark. I don't see the Empress reversed. There can be occasions in which with other cards around it I could read it in this way, but just the Empress reverse, I honestly do not see that as loss of children from death. illness or custody battles, codependency, definitely. Phenomena, hearing footsteps in the hallways or outside, the sensation of being followed, succubi and incubi. La Llorona, weeping woman, is an old Mexican legend. She is a wailing spirit who cries for the children she drowned in a river. She is seen or heard by riverbanks at night. She appears to men as a seductive siren, turning into a terrifying spectre. Meetings with her seldom end well. La Llorona is a difficult card. This is a card of chaotic magic, mental instability, infidelity, and deception. In extreme cases, this is a card where mommy can go a little crazy. I love how it tells you something really, really dark, and then at the same time, in the same sentence, it gets really cheeky. In such cases, this is the official mommy dearest card. I don't see the Empress as a negative card. This seems to be very dark. And I'm not entirely sure that the attempt of turning this into some kind of whimsical sentence by saying, you know, this is a card where mommy can go a little crazy. I can see what they're doing and I'm okay with it, but I'm not sure this is you know, everyone's cup of tea, perhaps not. So meditate, ask yourself, is there a third person in my life, either a close friend or lover? Are they causing turmoil or suspicion? Is that jealousy that I am missing? Am I the cause of the jealousy? Is it really me who is jealous? Why? I love the meditate prompts because there's so many questions there. I like it when a meditation prompt asks me a lot of things, many of them being intriguing but also probably confronting. So I'm okay with this deck. I'm actually liking it. I have to say, quite pleased with it. It didn't have the great start that I was expecting, but then, you know, it definitely got back into my good books with the guidebook. So very excited about this. And I would love to know in the comments below if you have this deck, but also something more of a general question. So when you're unboxing a deck and you want to really experience that thrill of the first impression, do you look at the guidebook first or do you look at the cards first? I'm very intrigued by that because that tells me a lot about people's personality, but also tells me a lot about how we approach decks and how we're all different in doing so. So please let me know in the comments below, do you look at the guidebook first or do you look at the cards first? And let's move on to the second deck. Okay, so the second deck is a deck I am definitely very excited about. This is the Nova Witch Tarot by Suki Ferguson, and the artwork is by Anna Noves. And if Anna Noves' name ring a bell for you, it's because she's also the illustrator of one of my favorite oracles ever. Let me just zoom out, sorry about that. And I'm talking about the Soul Mirror Oracle See Yourself, which has been created by Sunshine Connolly, but as you can see, the artwork is by Anna Noves. I love this deck so much. I would say in equal parts because of the structure of the deck, because it does have that possibility to do a lot of light and shadow work, as you can see. I don't know if you remember it, but I've worked a lot with this deck in combination with the Ephemeral Tarot for the light work and the True Black Tarot for the shadow work. So you're probably familiar with how I've used in many spreads these two decks and the Oracle cards. So you do have a really beautiful image. So obviously I am a fan of Anna's work. The awareness card, for example, comes with two keywords, and one is referring to the shadow side of the awareness, and the light side of awareness. So the shadow side is foolish or foolishness, and the light side is conscious or consciousness. So I love this deck, as I said, in equal parts because of the structure of the deck and the way it lets me use it, but also because of the artwork. And so when I heard that, it's the same publisher, by the way, still Blue Angel. So when I heard that Blue Angel was coming out with a tarot deck, I was already intrigued because they don't typically release that many tarot decks as opposed to oracle decks. They did this year. This is the either second or third one. I do have the Medieval Feathers Tarot, which I really like, as a matter of fact. And then, you know, this one was released and I couldn't see any of the cards. And then I was overseas and I couldn't get it because I believe it is now available. But while I was overseas, I couldn't get it. It was not available in Malaysia. But it was available in Australia, of course, because Blue Angel is Australian. So I was very jealous of all of my tarot friends that could get their hands on this deck. And finally, I got the copy as well. So let's have a look. I expect this to be a fabulous cardstock because Blue Angel lately has switched to a really fantastic cardstock, and it is. But as always, because this is an unboxing and first impression, I'm not going to have a look at the guidebook right now. I'm going to do that after I look at the cards, because it is a tarot deck, it's not an oracle deck, and I really need to see whether I'm happy with what the creators have done. So, sorry, this seems to be stuck, unfortunately. I hope I'm not ripping the glue. I hope the glue is not ripping off any of the... It doesn't come up. Yeah. Okay, I need to do like this. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties, and we're back on track. So yes, it is that really luxurious feeling cardstock. So it's a cardboardy, papery kind of feel, but I realized that that might not mean something nice to all of us. I do paper. I do love the sense of paper. However, it is kind of smooth. It is on the thin side, I have to say, very thin, especially when you compare it to, well, 99% of Blue Angel stacks. It's very, very thin. I guess it's because it is obviously 78 cards as opposed to the 40 cards you get, or 40 odd cards you get when you're looking at an oracle deck. But let's have a look at the card, because that's what we're here for. So we got the full... I like the union, the composition of artwork and the colors chosen, the Magician. It does remind me a lot of obviously the Soul Mirror. I can definitely recognize the style. Definitely recognize the style. So it is beautiful. I like it. That's one of the reasons why I actually purchased this deck, because I love Anna Nova's art style. And you know, we've seen this kind of structure of the card or images a lot on the oracle deck. There's more than one characters covering their faces with a cat, and the cat has a half moon on their forehead, because it does look at let's say the intuition that symbolizes. So I'm really okay with that. I love this hanged one because it still has the folded knee position, but it's not completely hanging upside down. It's just hanging over what looks like a thread. Beautiful death card. You know me, I love skulls, so there you go. The Temperance, can I just say thank you for giving a little bit of body diversity to these characters, because I actually look like this, so I'm quite happy. I can finally see myself. I'm not skinny. Well, so there it is. I'm not skinny. So be it. I love food, guys. I don't know what to say. The Devil card, really beautiful. Love this because it gives me a sense of... With the horns, it gives me a sense of something devilish, but at the same time tempting, which I do associate the Tower with the Devil card. The Star. The Star is a very important card for me, so I'm very critical. I'm hypercritical when I look at the Star card, and I have to say, I was hoping for something more cosmic. The way in which the character is breaking the fourth wall and looking directly at me gives me more So Below vibes. I don't know if I make sense. The Moon, for example, I like. Oh, I love this Moon card. I actually really like it. I love this Sun card. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Such, you know, you can let yourself go. And this, it looks like a kid. I think it's a child, so they can let themselves go, because right now in the moment they are protected and feel safe and joyous. I love this card. And the Judgment card I love as well. and we're going back to the skinny. But you know what, body diversity also means skinny, because we're all different, so fair enough. The world card, I actually like it. She's a ballerina, fair enough. And oh, please don't be peepish. No, it's not fair, thank God. Okay, the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. I'm just gonna speed this up because I realize that I'm talking a lot. So this is gonna be a long videos, guys. Sorry about that. It's just that oh my goodness, look at the Six of Cups, so beautiful. You're entering this safe space of a circle. Love it, absolutely love it. The Seven of Cups is actually on the cover. So we got that. The Eight of Cups, Nine of Cups. I love the Ten of Cups with the hands like that. Oh, that's beautiful. So we have a bit of a renaming, but not much. So we got the Girl of Cups, the Knight of Cups. Then we got Kings before Queens, and I appreciate that. Although I will have to refer back to the guidebook to see whether it's done with intention. Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, peepish, don't necessarily like it. Three of Wands, yep, I prefer that. Four of Wands, this looks like a Three of Cups to me, except for the Four Wands, but that's okay. Five of Wands, nope, peepish, don't like it. Six of Wands, I get it, but I don't see the team. For me, the Six of Wands is the victory you achieve thanks to the team around you. Seven of Wands, yeah, that's okay, standing up for what you believe in, but being also seeing the obstacles in front of you. The Eight of Wands is always peepish by nature. Nine of Wands, I'm not entirely sure about the close up. Ten of Wands, I love it because it reminds me of Wednesday. Girl of Wands, really beautiful, really beautiful. I love the fire in the eye, really like it. The Knight of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Queen of Wands, which is absolutely gorgeous. My goodness, how beautiful this is. Ace of Swords, you guys know that I'm very picky about the suit of swords, so we got the Two of Swords. Love it because in between the blindfolds there are roses, so I do appreciate a different take. Not appreciating this, very peepish, very usual, lazy. Four of Swords, yeah, I get it. The Five of Swords, I like that there is this hand pointing down at the person, but this looks to me, if there was no hand, it would point to an Eight of Swords to me, but I'm okay with it. I'm ready to learn. Six of Swords, don't see the movement of it, but there is a longing, so perhaps I could be okay with that. The Seven of Swords, hiding behind a tree trunk. I get it. It's okay. I'm okay with it. Eight of Swords, yes. Nine of Swords, typical. Ten of Swords, I like that there's no blood. Thank you for that. And again, this really long hair, like that. The Girl of Swords, the Knight of Swords. King of Swords, not necessarily vibing with it. Queen of Swords, which is my significator. I love that there's butterflies because it gives me a sense of flying, but I'm not entirely sure that I don't see the Queen of Swords as looking directly at me. It's just me probably. Breaking the fourth wall invites you in. The Queen of Swords is beyond that, but that's okay. Ace of Coins, Two of Coins, I love the whimsical juggling of that. The Three of Coins, absolutely perfect. I love this. Come into the circle. Tell us what you can do for us and join the team. Love it, absolutely love it. Four of Coins, I'm not entirely sure about the tier. I could be on board. I need to think about that. The Five of Coins, don't see the loss unless you point at the broken heart here, but the Five of Coins is not necessarily emotional. It's just being left out in the cold, which makes you emotional for sure, but it's more like the Five of Pentacles for me, like a breakup. So Six of Coins, I don't see the duality of giving and receiving, so not entirely on board. The Seven of Coins, I get it, sort of. You know what? That's a very interesting. I was reading a lot of interpretation of other tarot readers on Instagram, and there was a tarot reader in specific that without even so their own interpretation of the Seven of Coins without other cards, without reading that in a very specific position, but just as a kind of general one card pool without any other cards, they read the Seven of Coins as money problems. upright. I would see that as reverse, but I find that very interesting and enlightening, and I always like to confront my own opinion or reading of the cards with somebody else's, because I'm always ready to learn different takes on the cards. Let's say this one, as I said, this is a first impression, so I will have to go through the guidebook, which I'm going to show you briefly. There were not many renaming. It's in color, which I like. So for example, we got a few keywords for the lovers here. We got trust, equality, devotion. Two people lying there with their faces turned towards each other. They trust one another completely and feel contented and relaxed in their company. The lovers are two different individuals with two different experiences, which is a strength. Their love for each other is what makes them a team. I get it, but there's no element of choice here. And for me, the lovers, even though, yes, I do understand the devotion and the trust, and it does express these keywords very well with the artwork, but there's no choice here. In a reading, the lovers give you a chance to think about a person you really care about. I don't read it that way. This card can refer to romantic love, but it's about more than that. It can apply to love between friends, siblings, and anyone you like. See, I don't see, that's the Two of Cups for me, but I'm okay with that. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that read the Six of Major Arcana number 6 as, you know, actually the lovers. The special thing about the lovers is they recognize the bond between you goes both ways. Yes, I do see the duality. The person who you love loves you right back. It's a bit shallow for me, I'm sorry to say. Maybe I got the one card that let's just go to a minor. Let's go to, there you go, the Two of Wands, choosing, leading, planning. Two hands almost meet, yep. Across the divide, one hand is open, reaching as if to touch something or pick it up. The other hand gently points, gesturing towards some unseen possibility. Okay, I get it. The Two of Wands says you have power. Openness to new possibilities gives you the power of being original. You are the source. Yeah, definitely, I'm on board with that. So maybe it was just the Lover's card. And I do know that in some cases, people do read it exclusively that way, which is okay. So the Nine of Swords is worries, fears, unease. A girl huddled up, her arms tense, her eyes locked, closed to shut out the night. Those she tries to sleep, her mind is crowded with fear, symbolized by the swords. Yeah, very, very traditional, I would say. The Six of Coins, giving, receiving, charity. Yeah, I do read it like that, but I don't see it in the image. Six coins fall into an open hand, or do they fly out of it? Okay, I get it. Fair enough. Sorry about that. I didn't see the other hand, so I just saw one direction, but there is actually two. There is a bit of a double directionality, so I'm happy with that. In any case, and I love this Seven of Wands actually. So let me know what you think about this deck. I am not sure yet, so as always I say I need to work with the deck in order to understand if I like it or not. But for what I can see, there's pros and cons to this deck. I love the artwork, but I don't feel like it got the sense of the card in 100% of the deck. But that is not a deal breaker for me, and as I said, I will try and pair it up with the Soul Mirror Oracle, because I do recognize that the artwork is very similar and is very recognizable. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, I think I'm gonna split this video in two, because I have a lot more decks, and I've been talking already for almost an hour. So we're moving on. I'm gonna show you 3 more decks, let's put it this way. So these following 3 decks are all being created, released, produced and released in Vietnam. So I'm very happy to again be able to support the Vietnamese tarot culture and the tarot community, because I strongly believe that we need to step away from the idea that in countries like Vietnam there's only access to fake deck. That is unfortunately the case in many instances, but it's not always the case. And because there's these fantastic creators and fantastic tarot shops as well, I've been visiting 2 of them in Ho Chi Minh City. If you missed out those 2 episodes of Tarot on Tour, Vietnam Part 1 and Vietnam Part 2, I was lucky enough to be able to visit these 2 shops, and they store and they stock only genuine legit decks that they purchase from the creators directly, or from you know, when it comes to mass market deck, obviously they do purchase them from you know, the US Games, your various US Games, Oscar Bell, etc. So I'm very happy to give a shout out to these 2 decks, to these 2 tarot shops, LT Tarot and Mystic House, both of them in Ho Chi Minh City, because kudos to them for wanting to stand up against piracy. It is supporting the community, it is making it a safe space for everyone. Well done, guys. Anyway, so this is the Ekoland Tarot, which is, as I said, realized, created by a Vietnamese author. And it's already open here, so I'm just gonna rip the wrapping. And by the way, there's also a 3rd episode that is right now members only, or rather members first, because I was so lucky to be able to go to the Mekong Delta and see one of the most beautiful and rich, as in number of decks, museum of tarot, oracles, and divination and cartomancy in general that I've ever seen. It has been a fantastic experience. It is an amazing place, more than 2,000 decks. And guys, I was sick at the time, very sick as a matter of fact. I was this close to cancel my visit to the museum, but I really wanted to have a look, and so I look horrible on camera. I apologize. I was very sick, and I had to go to a doctor. I was on antibiotics for over 2 weeks, and I was very sick that day, but I did it anyway. And as a special thank you to my members, that was a members first video, so they were able to access that video before everyone else, but it will be soon released to all of my subscribers. So this one was in the Tarot Museum as well. So it's by, I'm not gonna pronounce, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this name. I'm sorry, but my Vietnamese is non-existent. So this is the publisher, this is the creator. It's called Ekoland Tarot. I was very intrigued by this deck because I saw it at the museum, as I said, and I was very curious to get it. I was able to find it in a bookstore. So let's have a look. And it comes with this wrapping, which I will have to cut, obviously. Well, no, it comes open at the bottom, so it makes it easier. I actually do appreciate that. And let's talk about this deck. So as I said, this is a 100% Vietnamese production. I have no idea what I'm going to find when it comes to the quality, but as I said at the beginning of this video, always keeping an open mind. So it feels a bit papery. It is, however, also sturdy at the same time. It feels like it can stand the test of time and usage. I am a tarot reader, not just a tarot collector, so for me quality of the cards is actually very important, because if I spend money on something that after maybe a couple of years I have to it falls apart, then I'm not entirely happy. It doesn't seem to be in order, or maybe it is, but it starts with the cord cards for the suit of water, which I'm fine with, obviously. And then there's this that explains obviously what this deck is about, but it does that in Vietnamese, unfortunately, so I won't be able to translate that for you. I do see the year, which is 2017, which makes me happy because it means that it's been in circulation for at least 7 years, which is awesome. And by the way, these are the backs, which I actually really like, very symbolic and esoteric. But let's just zoom in and see what we're talking about here. So the Child of Water, I don't know whether there's some symbols that will point to cups here. There is a koi, So obviously we were looking at water. There's cups as well. The Explorer of Water, obviously with the Knight. The King of Water, again, kings before queens. I'm perfectly happy with that. And the Queen of Water. And then we jump to the Four of Earth, which, I don't know, I think it's a bit odd, but it's absolutely fine. Or it might actually be a very specific order. It might have its, it might have its reasons. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to be proven wrong, as in, say, oh, it reminds me of this or that, and then it's not. I'm not going to say anything. But Four of Earth, so coins, obviously. I like that. The Five of Earth, Six of Earth. I love this card. So we have these characters that look a bit alien, perhaps also fairy-like. And we also have these creatures that could be supernatural. So we got five. It continues with the Suit of Earth, 8, 9, 10. And then it goes to the Child of Earth. Okay, fair enough. Explorer, King, and Queen. Oh, I love this Queen of Earth. Look, there's so much tenderness in this card. I really love it. Machiko. Sorry, I actually forgot. There's names on top. Ebisu, Yebisu, but Yebisu, okay. Machiko. These are, Yebisu and Machiko are Japanese name. Tadashi as well. Mochi as well. I am so sorry. I actually should have noticed this sooner. Anyway, One of Fire, and then we got other names. David, Ta, Fund. I love this. We got wolves, or foxes, sorry, not wolves, in the Suit of Fire, which makes sense for me. Hakma, Hell. Okay, Rita. These are mythological. Lugio, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know all of these ones, but I do recognize them. Some of them, not so. Windy, Chiron or Chiron, Hatch, definitely. I will need to do some research about this because I'm not entirely sure, and I am a bit scared that the books is going to be in Vietnamese and not in English. There's no translation. Okay, thank goodness for 2024 and Google Translator. So I'm going to work really hard on translating the text here because I really want to check this out. It feels like it's very interesting because it's associating mythology or, legend or folklore at least with the cards themselves. We do also have the alchemical symbol for the element represented in the suit. The illustrations are RWS. Or at least for the cards that I've seen so far. Oh, look at this Ten of Water. That's really nice with two koi carps and arid. I'm liking this deck so far. Okay, now we're starting with the major arcanas. So we got the Fool, we got the Magician. You know what? It reminds me a lot of one of my many, because I have a few, manga tarot decks. It really looks like the way in which manga portray a character. The Lovers, Mizu. Okay, we got two lovers. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. There's a bit of age diversity, which I appreciate. I mean, it could have just been one card. So obviously there's just age diversity, no gender. But it's okay because at least they're giving me the possibility to... I'm not young anymore, so obviously, and I'm not at this stage of life yet, so I'm kind of in between, but I appreciate the fact that at least it gives you the possibility to choose the card that most feels like it represents you. Let me pick it up. It's easier. Me, Aragon with the Wheel of Fortune, and again the Ouroboros with the Sun, the Moon, and an apple in the middle. Justice, yeah, and the Hanged One. The Phoenix with Death, I love it. Rebirth, of course. Temperance card, yep. the Devil, we've seen it, the Tower, and the Star. And as always, I'm very picky about the Star. So it's a character, genderless character, sitting on top of what looks like a rooftop with, I don't know what this is, it might be a chimney, but I'm not entirely sure, pointing at the biggest star in the sky. The name is Happy. I will have to study this deck, guys, because Judgment, that's a very interesting Judgment card. It looks like it's a version of the Devil, but it's only the mirror reflection, and it doesn't look like it's exactly what the figure looks like. So it looks like there's a different reality that is shown by the reflection of the mirror. I will have to study this deck with Google Translate. Hopefully I'll get something. Garuda is the Hindi god of, well, Garuda is an Hindu god, and is half eagle, half human, and it is representing it's a mean of transportation, let's say, for other major gods. It's also the name of an airline in Indonesia, Garuda. Okay, we're always talking about the Three of Swords, aren't we? Purse, the heart. Not entirely on board with this picture, but that's fine. The Four of Swords, the Five. I like the, you know, I do get it. I get it with the Triumph, but it's not. It's an unfair advantage. The Six of Air, fantastic. The Seven. Loving the 8, yeah, very typical RWS 9. They switch from swords to arrows in the 10 of Air, which I'm not entirely sure why they did that. I would appreciate some consistency, but there might be a reason. And then, you know, the core cards for that. And then, obviously, they have to show me. I was about to say I'm missing 3 cards, but no, I've got them. So it's a full deck. It's just situated in a different way. I actually really like it. As I say, by touching the cards, I actually feel how sturdy this is, so I'm completely happy with the quality. Not going to show you too much the guidebook, as I said, because unfortunately it is in Vietnamese and it doesn't have thumbprints of the cards, which is fine because we have the cards. So that was really beautiful, and as I said, it's called the Ekoland Tarot. 100% Vietnamese production from the creator to the publisher. And now we're moving on to another 2 Vietnamese decks. However, I know 100% that these decks are very well known in the tarot community, simply because one of them was actually the winner of the Carta Awards from 2020, was it 23? 2022. So this is the best tarot deck of the year for 2022 for Cartomancy Awards, Carta Awards. This is the Quen tarot deck, Forget Tarot. And it's by, and I'm sorry again, I'm just gonna point to the name because I'm so sorry, but I just cannot pronounce Vietnamese. It's actually a very hard language, at least for me. Because of the sounds that I really cannot reproduce. You guys know that I am blessed because I speak several languages, but none of them is, apart from Japanese, but Japanese, ironically, is very similar to the pronunciation of Italian words, so I don't have any difficulty in pronouncing Japanese words, but Vietnamese is very hard for me. So let's have a look at this deck. I know for a fact that this deck, so this is the author that also came out with an oracle deck, and if you're interested, there's a Kickstarter, but I'm not entirely sure, which is still on, at least at the time of filming. I'm not entirely sure that is the same author. However, in that Kickstarter, I should have checked, apologies for that, but in the same Kickstarter, you are able to not just order the deck that is currently being funded, but also the Quen Tarot, and I believe also the Quen Oracle, which is actually more difficult to procure. So this is the Quen Tarot, And we also have a certificate of authenticity. Let me just flip the cards like that. It's easier. It comes with this wraparound magnetic closure kind of box with a ribbon, which I really like, and the quality is very, very good and very sturdy. So these are the bags, which are very beautiful, I have to say. And this is a little bit of a preview of what the art style is going to be like. So this, I think it's watercolor, but I could be wrong, but it's clearly painted. And it comes with this really beautiful, gorgeous copper, orangey copper kind of colored gilding. As I said, certificate of authenticity, and there's also the initials of the creator here. And so we start with, it's based on RWS, but the interpretation is somewhat different. I see here there's a few different full cards to choose from, which makes me happy. So, and it also, so when you're looking at the bottom of the card, you don't just see the name of the card, you also see the location. I love that we have a location referring to the cards. I don't know whether it's for the minors as well. It looks like it is, but not, okay, it is for the court cards, it's not for the minors. It's fine. So we got one Fool for Hanoi, one Fool for Someone on Earth. Fantastic. Fantastic. One Fool for Singapore, Bangkok. Loving this. Chiang Mai. I love the sense of time that sometimes we don't see that in the Fool, but the Fool is, a lot of people point to the fact that the Fool is not conscious of time. I don't think it's unconscious of time. I think that is aware that time passes, but they're not concerned by it. So that's my take on it. Ho Chi Minh City, there you go, the Magician. Nam Dinh in Vietnam for the High Priestess. We got Dalat for the Empress. Hai Phong for the Emperor. New Zealand in general as a country, okay, for the Hierophant. Not entirely sure about the reference to New Zealand for the Hierophant. We'll have to... It did not come with the book, did it? No. Did it? Sorry, I have a... No, it did not, okay. Maybe there's some research that I can do online. Tokyo for the Lovers, Singapore again, for the Chiang Mai again, Vinh in Vietnam for the Hermit. Do you see the art style? I really, really love it. And I made a mistake. So I thought that it was watercolors, but now I'm changing my mind. I'm not entirely sure. If you're an art expert or an artist, let me know what this particular style is called, because I'm actually very interested. Kuala Lumpur, Hanoi, oh, Hoi An, sorry, Hoi An, which is really beautiful, by the way. Hong Kong, Hue, Beijing for the Devil. Okay, I wonder why this choice. It's a very interesting choice. Trong Sa Island in Vietnam for the Tower. Penang in Malaysia. One of my members actually spent a few years of her childhood in Penang, and so we were talking about Penang. I've been there with my husband in my recent holiday. We absolutely fell in love with Georgetown, which is, you know, the main city in Penang. It's a really, really wonderful, fantastic. We loved it. We loved staying there. We stayed there for 4 days. I wish it were longer. Tasmania, yep, I know Tasmania. I do see this as very Tasmanian-like. Hoa Binh in Vietnam, Phnom Penh in Cambodia, loved it. Somewhere on Earth again with the World card. And then we also have additional, 3 additional major arcanas. We've got number 22 with myself, Somewhere on Earth. Love it. It looks like a 2 of Wands or a 3 of Wands, perhaps more, which is fine. The Karma, Anywhere on Earth, again. Loving this card with the chess piece. Is that the Queen? I'm not a chess player, sorry. And then the blank, which is actually on the box as well. Nowhere on Earth, wonderful. And then we go into the minors, so very RWS. So I'm gonna go quickly because otherwise we're gonna stay here forever. And I know that you guys are really wonderful because you're always supporting my channel, but I know that no one has got hours. We all have, you know, plenty of things to do. work, family, friends, life, personal care. Never skip on personal care. So this is, it's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful deck, and I'm sure you're probably familiar with this deck because it was the winner of the Carta Awards, and because of that it was actually advertised and it was showed around the world, which is always amazing. And I really do appreciate that even context, global context like that, finally pay attention to countries not necessarily famous for in the tarot community, like Vietnam. I would love to see some Philippine creators as well, for example, because there's a lot that is going on in Southeast Asia. Let me tell you, for when it comes to tarot, the tarot community is thriving in Southeast Asia. There is a tarot symposium in Singapore which I am planning to attend next year, and so I'll be very happy to go there. So this is the Quen Tarot, and as I said, I'm also going to show you the Quen Oracle, which is by the same creator, with the same, an illustrator, and it's the same art style. And I'm very happy that I've got this deck. It was funny because whilst I was there, this one I purchased at Mystic House in Ho Chi Minh City. Whilst I was there, there was this girl with her mom, and I believe they're originally Vietnamese, but I'm not entirely sure. But she was there they live in California, so they were there visiting, probably visiting family, but visiting Vietnam. And they knew about this shop, and so I was very glad to catch up with them and have a chat. So if you're watching it, hi, if you're watching this, yes, I'm talking about you. So she subscribed to my channel, which I'm very happy about. So it's the same structure as the tarot when it comes to the box, which I'm quite happy about. And also, if you can see, it is a very beautiful back. I actually really enjoy these two backs together. It comes with another certificate of authenticity, which is always appreciated. And then, you know, the structure, again, very similar, as you can see, although this one has got borders when it comes to the court cards. This one is borderless. And, all of the cards are borders. Sorry about that. So this one is borderless, which I believe points to the fact that this one was probably a later production after 2022, because it seems to be the trend now to go borderless, which I'm happy about. Goodbye, Hua Hin. Hope, Summer 2023. I think it's the title of the painting. Inner Child, My Sister, Summer 98. Mindfulness, Balcony, Spring 2004. Absolutely love the fact that we have an artwork, obviously an original painting, so this is literally curated art. And now we have the title of the painting, which is making us think even more, because whenever an artist is painting something and they choose the title, let me tell you, it's like they're exposing their whole soul. I was recently in a museum, the MU, so the Urban Museum in Kuala Lumpur in Bukit Bintang, and there was this really fantastic collection of contemporary artists and contemporary art produced by contemporary artists, of course. And there was this image, if I remember, I would actually put it here on the screen. It's called No, Really, I'm Fine. And it's just amazing. It's by Nadia Bamadaj, and she is very famous here in Australia because we had artworks displayed in the Biennale in Melbourne. Or is that a Triennale? I think it's a Triennale. And she has studied actually in New Zealand. But this painting presents, it's just a headshot of a person, and hair of this person are like a medusa, so they're all snakes. And there is so much anxiety. This is, by the way, the back of the tarot card. There is so much anxiety in that expression, and I absolutely love it. And the title of that painting, as I said, is No, Really, I'm Fine. And it's so very provocative and it's so very confronting, but it's the way in which we sometimes have to behave. We have to say that we're fine, even though we have snakes for hair. And I really, really love that. So I am very happy that I was able to see the original of that painting. So I highly recommend the Urban Museum. There's 3 of them. The one in Bukit Bintang is the one I visited. But as I said, a creator, an artist, they really show their soul, not just with the paintings, but also with the title that they choose to give that particular painting. And I really enjoy that. So I am over the moon for these 2 decks because I cannot wait to actually start using them together. But probably I will start working with the Oracle deck by itself because it gives you a lot of information, not just with, as I said, the painting itself, but also the title and the keyword associated. And also the fact that you can see the year in which it has been produced is very interesting for me because, you know, it makes you think, obviously, if there's something that has been produced during the pandemic, you know, it will give you a different feeling. For example, this one, Yourself, Autumn 2022, amazing. Loving these 2 decks. But that was it for today because it was a very long video, so there will be another unboxing soon. But don't miss out on the Tarot on Tour videos. I love making them. I know that the algorithm is not my friend because it feels like it's a bit of a mix between travel and tarot, and so I feel like it's not working very well. But if you're one of my subscribers, first of all, thank you, and second of all, don't miss out on those videos because I show a lot of decks. I show also a lot of images from the places that I visit, but I also talk about the sense of the tarot community, which is global, not just from our own countries. But that's enough for today. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.